Well, in the previous segment, we learned some things. Number one, not to wear a khaki light-colored shirt against a dark background. It looks like you glow. So maybe we learned a little bit about pulleys too, though. So I've changed to a olive drab, I think they call it, color. Maybe that'll not make it stand out so much. But let me adjust something I said. It was accurate. I just got it out of order. The pulley principle. I said the pulley principle and then went on to talk about lossless pulleys and parallel ropes. The pulley principle I wanted to talk about is this. Whatever force I have in this rope, I also have in this rope, and those two forces add and create a greater force at the pulley. That's the thing I wanted to define as the pulley principle. The other stuff is certainly true. I just said it in the wrong order. So starting from that point, what I want to do in this segment now is look at what all this means to us and how we get some things from it. The first thing I'm going to look at is the one-to-one redirect. In a pulley, it always has, and remember we're talking parallel rope here, it always has a one-to-one redirect, that's here, and it always has a 2-to-1 force multiplication. So no matter what your system looks like, as long as you have a pulley with parallel ropes, you have those two features, a 1-to-1 redirect and a 2-to-1 force multiplication. Now, where the force multiplication helps us is when it's directed toward the load. It may not be directly attached to the load. It could be attached to another part of the pulley system in a pretty complicated system. But nonetheless, it applies that 2-to-1 to the load. Then we have the advantage of the pulley. If the pulley is at an anchor point, we're never going to get a 2-to-1 advantage at the load. And we can see that right here. Let's take a look at that. We already know that whatever force is in this rope is also in this rope. So if I'm pulling here, if I want to raise a 1-pound weight, I have to pull with 1 pound, neglecting mass and acceleration, all that stuff. So whatever force I have to raise, I have to exert that force in this line to make that load go up. That's 1-to-1. What does the pulley do for me exactly in this case? Well, it doesn't give me any force multiplication, at least not toward the load. But what it does do is let me redirect this upward force. If we didn't have the pulley, I'd have to pull this way, up. But the pulley lets us redirect and pull down to make the load go up. That's always present in a pulley. If we have a parallel rope pulley system, we will always have a 1-to-1 redirect, and that's it. It's from the load to whatever is manipulating the load. So if I'm pulling a load up, I get a 1-to-1. For every pound of my load, I have to exert a pound here. But it allows me to redirect it. Now I might be able to get my whole body into it and pull and have a mechanical advantage from that perspective, but it's still 1-to-1. I still have to apply the same amount of force. If I've got 1 pound, I have to apply 1 pound. If I've got 100 pounds, I have to apply 100 pounds. Now, the pulley always has a 1-to-1, but it also always has a 2-to-1, always, in parallel rope pulley systems. The 2-to-1 in this case, as we now know, comes from the force in this line added to the force in this line, which when they're equal in a lossless pulley puts double the force here that's in either one of these lines. So that's where the 2-to-1 nomenclature comes from. It is basically what happens when I pull this line with 1 pound of force. I get 2 pounds up here. So that's the 2-to-1. So whatever I pull with here, I generate twice that force here. In this case, that 2-to-1 mechanical advantage is applied to my anchor, and it does not help me lift my load. Now, I'm going to go away and come right back and turn this whole thing upside down and take advantage of the 2-to-1 pulley principle. So I'll be right back.